Welcome aboard the Bedtime Express to a world of wonder and magic. Tonight, we shall drift together through the misty realms of ancient Greece, where gods walked among mortals and legends were born beneath starlit skies. In the sacred halls of marble and gold, 10 mighty deities hold dominion over earth, sea, and sky. Each possesses powers beyond mortal comprehension, yet their stories are filled with the same emotions we know today: love, jealousy, courage, and wisdom. Before you fall asleep, please subscribe to our channel so you can come back tomorrow for another deep sleep journey. Also, leave us like and write into comments from where you are joining us and what is your time. Now, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let your imagination carry you to Mount Olympus, where the most powerful beings in all mythology reign supreme. As we journey together through their tales, let the gentle rhythm of these ancient stories lull you into peaceful slumber. The 10 most powerful gods of Greek mythology. High above the clouds, where eagles dare not soar, stands the magnificent palace of Zeus, king of the gods. His throne, carved from a single piece of celestial marble, overlooks all of creation. Lightning dances at his fingertips like loyal pets, and thunder rolls at his command like distant drums in a cosmic orchestra. Zeus was not always king. Long ago, in the misty dawn of time, his father Cronus ruled the heavens with an iron fist. But Cronus had learned a terrible prophecy, that one of his children would overthrow him, just as he had overthrown his own father. In his fear, Cronus swallowed each of his newborn children whole, trapping them in the darkness of his belly. When Zeus was born, his mother Rhea wept tears of starlight. She could not bear to lose another child to her husband's paranoia. So she wrapped a stone in swaddling clothes and gave it to Cronus, while secretly spiriting baby Zeus away to a hidden cave on the island of Crete. There, gentle nymphs raised him, feeding him honey from sacred bees and milk from the goat Amalthea. As Zeus grew, so did his power. The earth trembled when he laughed, and storms gathered when he wept. When he came of age, he returned to challenge his father, armed with lightning bolts forged by the mighty Cyclops. The battle shook the very foundations of the world, with thunder echoing across the heavens for 10 long years. Finally, Zeus emerged victorious. He freed his siblings from their father's belly and claimed the throne of Olympus. But Zeus was not a harsh ruler like his father. He governed with wisdom, dividing the world among his brothers, giving the sea to Poseidon and the underworld to Hades, while he himself ruled the sky and earth. From his golden throne, Zeus watches over mortals with the care of a shepherd. He sends gentle rains to nourish the crops and warm sunshine to ripen the harvest. Though his temper can be fierce as a summer storm, his justice is fair, and his protection extends to all who show him proper respect. The great king's voice is the rolling thunder that announces the coming rain. His smile is the first ray of sunlight breaking through storm clouds. And when he spreads his mighty arms, eagles soar on the winds he creates, carrying his messages across the world. In the quiet moments between storms, Zeus sits in contemplation, his wise eyes reflecting the depth of eternity. He remembers every prayer whispered by mortals below, every act of kindness, every moment of courage. For though he is the mightiest of all gods, Zeus never forgets that true strength comes from protecting those who cannot protect themselves. As night falls across Olympus, even the King of Gods finds peace in rest. The lightning dims to a gentle glow, the thunder softens to a distant purr, and Zeus closes his ancient eyes, dreaming dreams that shape the destiny of worlds. In the eastern wing of Olympus, where peacocks strut across gardens of ambrosia flowers, dwells Hera, queen of the gods and protector of sacred bonds. Her palace glimmers like mother of pearl in the eternal twilight, and her throne is adorned with eyes from her beloved peacocks, each one watching over the marriages of mortals below. Hera is beauty incarnate, with flowing hair that captures moonlight and eyes that hold the depth of eternity. When she walks, roses bloom at her feet, and when she laughs, the sound is like silver bells carried on a summer breeze. She is the goddess who blesses new brides and watches over families, ensuring that the bonds of love remain strong through all of life's challenges. Long ago, when the world was young, Zeus fell deeply in love with his sister's grace and wisdom. But Hera was not easily won. She valued commitment and devotion above all else, and she would not accept Zeus's proposal until he proved his dedication. So Zeus transformed himself into a small, bedraggled bird and flew to Hera's window on a cold, stormy night. When Hera saw the poor creature shivering in the rain, her compassionate heart was moved. She took the little bird inside, warming it by her fire and feeding it nectar from her own cup. Only when the bird was safe and comfortable did Zeus reveal his true form. Touched by her kindness and convinced of her pure heart, Hera agreed to become his wife. Their wedding was the most magnificent celebration the world had ever seen. All the gods brought gifts, and even the earth herself bloomed with flowers in honor of the divine union. The golden apples of the Hesperides were Hera's wedding gift from Gaia, and they remain in her sacred garden to this day, symbols of immortal love. As Queen of Olympus, Hera's wisdom guides the decisions of all the gods. She is the voice of reason in heated debates, the gentle hand that soothes wounded pride, and the fierce protector who defends the innocent. Her crown, woven from stars and moonbeams, marks her as the ultimate authority on matters of the heart and home. Hera's peacocks are more than mere companions. They are her eyes upon the world. Through them, she watches over every wedding ceremony, every anniversary celebration, every moment when two hearts join as one. She sends her blessings in the form of gentle rain on wedding days and rainbow arcs across the sky during marriage ceremonies. In her quieter moments, Hera tends to her garden of pomegranates, each fruit containing the seeds of new families yet to be born. She hums lullabies that mothers will sing to their children for generations to come, and she weaves tapestries that tell the stories of great loves throughout history. Though some tales speak of Hera's jealousy, these stories forget her true nature. What mortals mistake for anger is actually fierce protection, the same force that drives a mother to defend her young or a wife to fight for her marriage. Hera's passion burns bright because she understands that love, once given, must be treasured and protected at all costs. When twilight settles over Olympus, Hera walks through her moonlit gardens, her peacocks trailing behind her like a river of jeweled feathers. She listens to the prayers of newlyweds and blesses them with her eternal protection. And in the deepest hour of night, she joins Zeus in their celestial chamber, where their love continues to light the stars. Far beneath the waves, where sunlight fades to silver threads, lies the magnificent underwater palace of Poseidon, Lord of the Seas. Built from coral and pearl, decorated with treasures from 1,000 sunken ships, his domain stretches from the deepest ocean trenches to the gentlest tide pools where children play. Poseidon himself is a sight of wonder, tall as a mountain, with flowing hair the color of sea foam and eyes that reflect the changing moods of the ocean. His beard ripples like waves, and his voice is the sound of surf breaking on distant shores. In his mighty hand, he carries the trident that commands all the waters of the world, from the smallest dewdrop to the vastest ocean. The god of the sea was not always content with his watery realm. When he and his brothers divided the world after their victory over the Titans, Poseidon secretly desired Zeus's dominion over the earth and sky. But as time passed, he discovered that his oceanic kingdom was far more vast and wondrous than any land could be. Beneath the waves, Poseidon created gardens of seaweed that sway like dancers in the current. He filled his realm with creatures of impossible beauty, dolphins with silver skin, seahorses with rainbow manes, and whales whose songs carry messages across the deepest waters. Schools of fish move like living jewels through his underwater forests, and mermaids swim through his palace halls, their laughter bubbling up to the surface as sea spray. When Poseidon rides across the ocean in his chariot pulled by golden-maned horses, the waves part before him like curtains of liquid crystal. Dolphins race alongside him, leaping joyfully through the air, while seabirds cry his name to the wind. His passage brings life to the waters, schools of fish multiply, coral reefs bloom with new growth, and even the most barren stretches of seafloor burst with colorful anemones. The Sea Lord's generosity knows no bounds. He guides ships safely through storms, brings schools of fish to feed hungry villages, and sends favorable winds to fill the sails of honest merchants. Sailors pray to him before every voyage, and he answers with gentle waves and clear skies for those who show him proper respect. But Poseidon is not only the god of the vast oceans. He is also the earth shaker who controls the movements of the ground beneath our feet. With a strike of his trident, he can create islands or cause earthquakes that reshape the coastline. This power he uses carefully, for he knows that with great strength comes great responsibility. In his deepest chambers, surrounded by the treasures of the deep, Poseidon keeps a collection of the most beautiful pearls ever formed. Each one holds the essence of a perfect moment, a sailor's safe return home, a child's first glimpse of the ocean, a lover's promise made beside the waves. These pearls glow with inner light, illuminating the dark depths with memories of joy and wonder. When storms rage across the surface, Poseidon watches from below with paternal concern. He sends his messenger dolphins to guide lost ships to safety and uses his power to calm the wildest tempests before they can cause too much harm. For though he is master of the storm, he prefers to be known as the bringer of gentle rains and peaceful harbors. As the moon rises high above the waves, Poseidon swims through his liquid realm, visiting every corner of his domain. He checks on the sleeping whales, adjusts the currents that carry warmth to distant shores, and whispers lullabies that become the soft sound of waves lapping at the beach. In the deep ocean trenches, where no light has ever shone, his presence brings a gentle glow that comforts the creatures of the depths. In the depths of the earth, far below the roots of the oldest mountains, lies a realm of infinite mystery and unexpected beauty. This is the underworld domain of Hades, the most misunderstood of all the gods. His palace, carved from obsidian and decorated with gems that capture the last light of dying stars, stands at the crossroads between life and death. Hades himself is not the dark, fearsome figure that whispered stories claim. Though his robes are black as midnight and his crown is wrought from shadows, his face bears the noble features of his brothers, touched with infinite compassion. His eyes, deep as eternity itself, have witnessed every soul's journey and hold understanding for all mortal struggles. When the world was divided among the three brothers, Hades received what seemed like the least desirable realm. But he accepted his role without complaint, for he understood that death is not an enemy to be feared, but a gentle friend who brings rest after life's labors. In his wisdom, he transformed the underworld from a place of terror into a sanctuary of peace. The underworld that Hades rules is nothing like the grim cavern many imagine. Fields of asphodels stretch endlessly under a twilight sky, where souls find peace and reflection after their earthly struggles. For those who lived with virtue, the Elysian fields bloom eternal spring, where heroes and saints dwell in perfect happiness. Even the Lethe, the river of forgetfulness, flows gently to ease the pain of difficult memories. Beside his throne sits Persephone, queen of the underworld, whose story is not one of kidnapping but of choice. When she first visited the underworld as a young goddess, gathering flowers in her mother's fields, she glimpsed Hades in his garden of midnight blooms. She saw past the somber exterior to the gentle soul beneath, and love bloomed between them like flowers in eternal spring. Their courtship was conducted in whispered conversations beside pools of starlight, walks through gardens where crystal flowers chimed like bells in the soft breeze. When Persephone chose to stay with Hades for half of each year, it was an act of love, not captivity. Her mother Demeter's grief at the separation creates winter, but Persephone's joy in both realms brings the promise of spring's return. In his role as judge of the dead, Hades is scrupulously fair. He weighs each soul's deeds not with harsh judgment, but with infinite patience and understanding. He sees the struggles behind every choice, the love behind every sacrifice, the hope behind every dream deferred. His justice is tempered with mercy, and his mercy is strengthened by wisdom. The three-headed dog Cerberus, guardian of the underworld's gates, is not a monster, but a faithful companion. Each head represents a different aspect of Hades' nature: memory, understanding, and compassion. Cerberus greets arriving souls with gentle whimpers and guides them safely to their eternal rest. In his private chambers, Hades tends a garden of flowers that grow nowhere else, blooms that capture the essence of lives well lived, petals that shimmer with the light of good deeds, stems that grow strong from the roots of sacrificial love. This garden is his greatest treasure, for it reminds him that even in death, beauty persists. When mortals above ground sleep, Hades walks among the souls in his care, offering comfort to the newly arrived and wisdom to those who seek understanding. His voice, soft as falling leaves, reassures the frightened and guides the lost. He is the final teacher, helping each soul understand the meaning of their earthly journey before they move on to their eternal rest. The riches beneath the earth, gold, silver, and precious gems, are his to command, but Hades values them only for their ability to comfort and provide. He sends these gifts to the surface world to help those in need, understanding that true wealth lies not in possession, but in the generous sharing of abundance. As the night deepens in the world above, Hades returns to his throne beside beloved Persephone, and together they watch over the peaceful sleep of souls finding rest after life's long journey. His realm is not a place of ending, but of transformation, where the struggles of life give way to the peace of understanding, and where every soul finds the rest they have earned. On the highest peak of Mount Olympus, where the air is thin and thoughts run clear as mountain streams, stands the silver palace of Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare. Her halls are filled with scrolls and books, weapons and armor, olive trees and owls, all symbols of her unique blend of intellectual power and courageous action. Athena's birth was unlike any other god's, for she sprang fully grown from Zeus's head, already armed with wisdom and wearing armor that gleamed like starlight. Her gray eyes hold the depth of infinite knowledge, and her voice carries the authority of one who has never spoken a foolish word. Yet, despite her martial appearance, she is a goddess of peace, preferring to win battles through strategy rather than brute force. The owl perched eternally on her shoulder is more than a companion. It is wisdom given wing. Its great golden eyes see through deception to truth, through confusion to clarity, through fear to courage. When mortals face difficult decisions, it is Athena's owl that whispers the right choice in their hearts, guiding them toward wisdom and honor. Athena's greatest gift to humanity was the olive tree, won in a contest with Poseidon for patronage of a great city. While her uncle offered a saltwater spring, Athena planted an olive tree whose fruit would feed the people, whose oil would light their lamps, and whose branches would symbolize peace for all time. The people chose her gift, and the city became Athens, named in her honor. In her library, scrolls tell the stories of every act of courage and wisdom performed by mortals. She delights in recording the achievements of those who use their minds to solve problems, who stand up for justice despite personal cost, who choose the difficult path because it is right. Each entry glows with silver light, adding to the illumination of her hall of wisdom. Athena is the patron of all who create with skill and intelligence. She guides the hands of weavers as they work their looms, whispers inspiration to architects designing great buildings, and grants steady hands to surgeons saving lives. Her favorite mortals are those who combine physical skill with mental acuity, the craftsmen who create beauty, the inventors who solve problems, the healers who restore health. When war becomes unavoidable, Athena transforms from peaceful goddess to strategic commander. But her warfare is always defensive, always just, always aimed at restoring peace as quickly as possible. She teaches that true victory comes not from crushing one's enemies, but from creating conditions where enemies can become allies. Her armor is not made of mere metal, but forged from the light of truth itself. Her shield bears the image of Medusa, not to frighten, but to remind all who see it that even the most fearsome problems can be overcome through wisdom and courage. Her spear never misses its target because it aims not just for physical victory, but for justice itself. In her quieter moments, Athena walks through her olive groves, where the silver-green leaves whisper secrets of peace and prosperity. She tends each tree with her own hands, knowing that the wisdom she nurtures here will spread throughout the mortal world in the form of prosperity, art, and civilized society. The goddess delights in visiting mortal cities disguised as a wise woman or skilled teacher. She helps students struggling with difficult lessons, guides leaders facing complex decisions, and offers subtle assistance to anyone genuinely seeking to better themselves or their community. Her interventions are always gentle, designed to strengthen mortals' own abilities rather than replace them. As night falls over Olympus, Athena sits at her great desk, reading reports from her owls stationed around the world. She reviews the day's acts of wisdom and courage, adding the worthy ones to her eternal record. Her smile illuminates the darkness as she reads of mortals who chose knowledge over ignorance, peace over conflict, and wisdom over pride. Before she sleeps, Athena polishes her armor and sharpens her weapons, not because she desires conflict, but because she knows that wisdom must sometimes be defended by force. Her dreams are filled with visions of a world where all conflicts are resolved through reason, all problems solved through knowledge, and all people live in the peace that comes from understanding. As dawn breaks across the eastern sky, painting the world in shades of gold and rose, Apollo begins his daily journey across the heavens in his chariot of pure sunlight. His golden hair streams behind him like rays of morning sun, and his lyre creates the music that calls birds to song and flowers to bloom. He is beauty personified, wisdom given voice, and healing made manifest in divine form. Apollo was born on the floating island of Delos, where his mother Leto sought refuge from Hera's jealousy. The moment he drew his first breath, the island burst into bloom with golden flowers, and swans circled overhead, singing melodies of pure joy. Even as an infant, light radiated from his skin, promising a future filled with illumination for all the world. His palace on Mount Olympus is a marvel of crystal and gold, designed to capture and amplify the light of the sun itself. Music echoes constantly through its halls, not just from Apollo's own lyre, but from the harps of the 9 muses who serve as his companions and inspirations. Each room is dedicated to a different art form, filled with the masterpieces created by mortals touched by divine inspiration. Apollo's greatest gift is prophecy, delivered through the oracle at Delphi. But unlike harsh pronouncements of doom, his prophecies are guidances toward truth and understanding. He speaks in riddles, not to confuse, but to encourage mortals to think deeply about their choices and their consequences. Those who seek his wisdom with pure hearts always find the guidance they need. As god of music and poetry, Apollo inspires every beautiful song ever sung, every poem that captures truth in perfect words. His lyre was crafted by the infant Hermes as an apology for stealing Apollo's cattle, and it produces music that can heal wounded hearts, calm savage beasts, and inspire mortals to their greatest achievements. The songs he plays change with the seasons, gentle lullabies in spring, energetic dances in summer, melancholy ballads in autumn, and peaceful hymns in winter. But Apollo is not only a god of beauty and light, he is also the divine physician, whose knowledge of healing arts surpasses all others. He taught mortals the use of herbs and medicines, the importance of cleanliness and proper diet, and the healing power of music and positive thinking. His son Asclepius inherited this gift and became the greatest healer among mortals, founding the practice of ethical medicine. The gods' arrows can bring either plague or healing, depending on the worthiness of their target. To those who disrespect the gods or commit grave injustices, his arrows bring swift divine retribution. But to the faithful and the suffering, his golden shafts carry healing light that can cure any disease and mend any wound, whether of body or spirit. Apollo's love for mortals is evident in his many romantic partnerships, each one a celebration of beauty and artistic achievement. Though not all his loves end happily, each one leaves the world richer. The nymph Daphne became the laurel tree whose leaves crown victorious poets, and his beloved Hyacinth became the flower that blooms in remembrance of lost love. In his role as shepherd of the sun, Apollo ensures that each day brings exactly the right amount of light and warmth for the world below. He adjusts his chariot's path with the seasons, bringing long, warm days of summer and gentle, shorter days of winter. His horses, Pyrrhoi, Eos, Aethon, and Phlegon, know every cloud and every mountain, ensuring that sunlight reaches every corner of the earth where it is needed. During the hours when he is not driving the sun across the sky, Apollo walks among mortals in various disguises. He might appear as a traveling musician, delighting audiences with songs that linger in memory long after he has gone, or as a physician arriving mysteriously at moments of crisis to save lives with miraculous cures. Always, he leaves behind a sense of hope and renewed purpose. The god's connection to truth makes him the enemy of all deception and falsehood. His light reveals hidden things, his music inspires honest expression, and his prophecies guide seekers toward authentic understanding of themselves and their world. In a universe sometimes clouded by confusion and lies, Apollo stands as an eternal beacon of clarity and truth. As evening approaches and Apollo completes his daily journey across the sky, he returns to Olympus, where the Muses greet him with celebrations of song and dance. He spends his evenings in their company, creating new melodies and inspiring new forms of artistic expression that will delight mortals for generations to come. His laughter mingles with theirs, creating harmonies that echo through the halls of heaven and filter down to earth as the inspiration for dreams. In the deepest forests of the world, where ancient trees form cathedrals of green shadow and silver moonlight, dwells Artemis, the eternal maiden goddess of the hunt and protector of all wild things. Her palace is not built of stone or gold, but carved from the living wood of the world tree itself, its halls open to the sky and filled with the sounds of forest life. Artemis was born first of the twins on the sacred island of Delos, and helped deliver her brother Apollo into the world. This experience of nurturing from her very first moments shaped her into the ultimate protector, fierce in defense of the innocent, gentle with those in need, and utterly devoted to preserving the natural balance of the world. The goddess appears as a young woman of ethereal beauty, with silver hair that captures moonlight and eyes that reflect the depth of forest pools. Her bow, crafted from the horn of a sacred deer and strung with silver thread spun from moonbeams, never misses its target when justice is at stake. Yet she draws it only when necessary to protect, never to harm the innocent. When Artemis was still a child, she sat upon Zeus's knee and made 3 wishes: to remain forever young and unmarried, to have a pack of hunting hounds and a band of nymphs as companions, and to be given dominion over all wild places. Zeus, delighting in his daughter's wisdom and independence, granted all 3 wishes with great pride. Thus, Artemis became the eternal guardian of wilderness and all creatures that dwell within it. Her hunting pack consists not of ordinary hounds, but of magical beasts who share her mission of protection. Golden-eyed wolves run at her side, their loyalty absolute, their courage unwavering. Silver stags with antlers like crystal serve as her messengers, carrying her will to the farthest corners of the forest. Even the mighty bears defer to her wisdom, becoming gentle guardians under her influence. The nymphs who serve Artemis do so by choice, drawn to her message of independence and self-determination. They dance through the moonlit glades, tend the sacred springs, and serve as protectors of specific groves and meadows. Their laughter is the sound of wind through pine boughs, and their songs call the shy forest creatures from their hiding places. As goddess of the moon, Artemis drives her silver chariot across the night sky, pulled by 4 white deer with antlers that gleam like polished metal. Her light is gentler than her brother's sun, designed to comfort rather than reveal, to soothe rather than energize. Lovers walk by moonlight, children sleep peacefully in its glow, and travelers find their way home by following her silver path. But Artemis is not merely a goddess of gentle moonlight and peaceful forests. When the natural order is threatened, she becomes a fierce protector whose arrows fly swift as thought and true as divine justice. She defends the innocent from predators, both human and divine, and ensures that the balance between civilization and wilderness is maintained. Her role as protector of young women is particularly sacred to her. She watches over girls coming of age, granting them the strength to make their own choices about love and marriage. Her temples serve as sanctuaries for those seeking refuge from unwanted advances or harmful family situations. No one who seeks her protection with a pure heart is ever turned away. In the deepest part of her forest domain lies the Grove of New Beginnings, where lost souls come to find their true path. Here, Artemis appears to those who need guidance, not as the stern huntress of legend, but as a wise sister who understands the challenges of choosing one's own destiny. Her counsel is always practical, always empowering, always designed to help others find their own strength. The goddess delights in the simple pleasures of forest life, the sweet taste of wild berries, the soft moss that makes a perfect bed beneath the stars, the symphony of night sounds that lulls the woodland creatures to sleep. She knows every path through every forest in the world, every watering hole, every hidden den where animals raise their young in safety. When mortals treat the forest with respect, gathering only what they need and taking only what nature can spare, Artemis blesses them with easy hunting, abundant harvests of wild foods, and safe passage through even the densest wilderness. She teaches that true strength comes from living in harmony with nature rather than trying to dominate it. As dawn approaches and Apollo prepares to drive the sun across the sky, Artemis returns to her woodland palace, where her nymphs greet her with garlands of night-blooming flowers. She spends the daylight hours in peaceful rest, dreaming of moonlit hunts and forest dances, while her presence continues to protect all the wild places of the world. From the foam of the sea, where waves kiss the shore in eternal embrace, rose Aphrodite, the most beautiful of all goddesses, whose very presence fills the world with love, beauty, and the joy of creation. Her palace floats upon a cloud of rose petals above the island of Cyprus, its walls made of crystallized passion and its gardens blooming with every flower that has ever symbolized love. Aphrodite's beauty is beyond mortal description, for it changes to reflect the deepest desires of whoever beholds her. To some, she appears as the perfect romantic partner, to others as the embodiment of artistic inspiration, and to still others as the nurturing mother, love that cradles all creation. Her golden hair flows like liquid sunlight, and her eyes hold depths of compassion that can heal the most wounded heart. The goddess of love understands that her domain encompasses far more than romantic passion. She governs the love between friends who would sacrifice anything for each other, the love of parents for their children that surpasses all understanding, the love of artists for their craft that drives them to create beauty in the world. Every act of genuine affection, every moment of selfless caring, every choice to create rather than destroy, falls under her gentle protection. When Aphrodite walks through her gardens, roses bloom at her feet and nightingales burst into song overhead. Her laughter is the sound of wedding bells and children's giggles combined, and her tears when she weeps for love lost or unrequited become pearls that wash up on beaches around the world. Each pearl holds a memory of love that was pure and true, even if it was brief. Her attendants are the three graces, Euphrosyne, who brings joy to celebrations, Aglaia, who creates beauty in all its forms, and Thalia, who inspires festivity and good cheer. Together with their mistress, they visit weddings and anniversaries, births and reconciliations, any gathering where love is celebrated and shared. Their presence ensures that such occasions are filled with happiness and remembered with fondness. Aphrodite's son Eros, often depicted as a playful child with golden wings, is actually her most trusted assistant in the serious work of bringing compatible souls together. His arrows do not create false love, but rather open hearts to recognize the love that was already waiting to be discovered. He aims carefully, understanding that true love requires not just attraction, but compatibility of spirit, shared values, and mutual respect. The goddess delights in playing matchmaker among both mortals and immortals, but her interventions are always gentle and never forced. She might arrange for two lonely souls to shelter from the same sudden rainstorm, or inspire a shy person to speak the words that will begin a beautiful friendship. She believes that love should grow naturally, like flowers in spring sunshine, rather than being forced like blooms in a hothouse. In her role as patron of artists and creators, Aphrodite visits studios and workshops around the world, inspiring painters to capture beauty on canvas, musicians to compose melodies that express the inexpressible, and poets to find words that make hearts soar. She understands that the urge to create beauty is itself a form of love, love for the world, love for one's craft, love for the future generations who will be enriched by artistic legacy. Aphrodite's mirror is not a tool of vanity, but a window into the soul's deepest capacity for love. When someone looks into it, they see not their physical appearance, but their potential for giving and receiving love in all its forms. Some see themselves surrounded by the warm glow of friendship. Others recognize their calling to heal and nurture, and still others discover artistic talents they never knew they possessed. The goddess's sacred doves carry messages between lovers separated by distance, but more importantly, they carry hope to those who have given up on love. Their soft cooing reminds the heartbroken that pain will pass, the lonely that connection awaits, and the bitter that forgiveness opens doors to new possibilities. Each dove carries in its heart a fragment of Aphrodite's infinite capacity for compassion. When conflicts arise from jealousy or misunderstanding, Aphrodite appears as a wise counselor, helping disputants remember what brought them together in the first place. She teaches that true love is not possessive, but generous, not demanding, but giving, not fearful, but trusting. Her mediation has saved countless relationships and turned enemies into friends through the power of understanding. As night falls and lovers around the world share quiet moments together, Aphrodite walks through her palace gardens, tending the flowers that represent every successful relationship under her care. She smiles at the roses growing stronger with age, representing marriages that deepen over time, and she nurtures the delicate buds of new attraction with gentle care. Her greatest joy comes from seeing love flourish in all its beautiful variety. In a fortress of bronze and iron that gleams like a sunset, dwells Ares, the god whose true nature has been misunderstood by those who see only the surface of war and conflict. His palace stands upon a mountain where eagles soar and wild horses run free, surrounded by training grounds where the spirits of noble warriors practice the arts of honorable combat. Ares himself is a figure of imposing strength, with muscles forged in the fires of just battles and eyes that burn with the passion to protect the innocent. His armor is not worn for aggression, but as a symbol of his readiness to defend those who cannot defend themselves. Though his reputation speaks of endless warfare, his heart beats with love for peace and justice. The god of war was born during a thunderstorm when Hera's labor pains shook the very foundations of Olympus. From his first cry, it was clear that he possessed a warrior's spirit, but also a protector's heart. As he grew, he showed equal skill with sword and shield, spear and chariot, but his greatest pleasure came from using these skills to defend the weak against the strong. Ares understands that conflict is sometimes necessary to preserve what is good and right in the world. When tyrants oppress their people, when invaders threaten peaceful lands, when bullies torment the vulnerable, he inspires brave souls to stand up and fight back. His influence is felt not in meaningless violence, but in the righteous anger that drives heroes to risk everything for justice. The god's sacred animals reflect different aspects of his nature. The boar represents fierce protection of one's territory and young. The dog symbolizes loyal devotion to those we love, and the vulture, often misunderstood, performs the necessary task of cleaning up after battle so that the land can heal. Each creature teaches that even in warfare, there are roles of honor and necessity. Ares' relationship with Aphrodite is not merely a tale of illicit passion, but a beautiful allegory of how love and courage complement each other. Love gives us something worth fighting for, while courage gives us the strength to protect what we love. Together, they represent the complete guardian, one who fights not from hatred, but from the deepest devotion. In his training grounds, Ares teaches the spirits of fallen warriors that true strength comes not from defeating enemies, but from the willingness to sacrifice oneself for others. He shows them that the greatest victories are often won without striking a blow, through acts of moral courage, standing up for truth, and refusing to compromise one's principles even under pressure. The god appears to mortals not as a bloodthirsty berserker, but as the inner voice that whispers, "Stand up," when injustice rears its head. He is present in the single mother who works 3 jobs to provide for her children, in the whistleblower who risks everything to expose corruption, in the friend who steps between a bully and their victim. His courage flows through every act of moral bravery. When young soldiers pray to Ares before battle, they ask not for the strength to kill, but for the courage to protect their comrades and the wisdom to know when fighting is necessary. He answers by steadying their hands, calming their fears, and reminding them that their true enemy is not the person across the battlefield, but the forces of cruelty and oppression that make war necessary. In peacetime, Ares channels his warrior energy into other pursuits. He inspires athletes to push beyond their limits, motivates students to persevere through difficult studies, and gives strength to anyone facing a personal battle against addiction, illness, or despair. His domain is not limited to physical combat, but encompasses every struggle between right and wrong. The god's most treasured possessions are not weapons, but letters from those he has helped, thank you notes from freed slaves, pressed flowers from fields where his intervention prevented needless destruction, and children's drawings depicting him not as a fearsome warrior, but as a protective guardian angel. Ares works closely with his half-sister Athena, for while she provides the strategy and wisdom of warfare, he supplies the courage and determination to see difficult tasks through to completion. Together, they represent warfare at its most noble, intelligent, purposeful, and always aimed at restoring peace as quickly as possible. As night settles over his mountain fortress, Ares walks among the spirits of heroes past and future, sharing stories of battles won not through superior force, but through superior heart. His favorite tales are of those who chose the harder path because it was right, who stood alone against overwhelming odds because their cause was just, who turned enemies into friends through acts of unexpected mercy. Before he rests, Ares polishes his armor and sharpens his weapons, not in preparation for war, but as a meditation on responsibility. Each piece of equipment reminds him that strength must be balanced with wisdom, power with compassion, and courage with humility. In his dreams, he sees a world where his services are no longer needed because all conflicts are resolved through understanding and respect. At the crossroads of all worlds, where paths of possibility intersect and stories wait to be born, stands the Quicksilver Palace of Hermes, messenger of the gods and guide of souls between realms. His home shifts and changes like thought itself, sometimes appearing as a bustling marketplace, sometimes as a quiet library, and sometimes as a comfortable inn where travelers rest before continuing their journeys. Hermes was remarkable even as an infant, displaying both cleverness and mischievous humor from his very first day. Born at dawn in a cave on Mount Selene, he had escaped his cradle by noon and stolen Apollo's cattle by sunset, displaying the quick wit and love of adventure that would define his eternal nature. But his pranks were never malicious. Even as a baby, his tricks were designed to bring laughter and teach important lessons. The young god's theft of Apollo's cattle led to one of his greatest gifts to the world. To make amends, he crafted the first lyre from a tortoise shell, creating music so beautiful that Apollo forgave him instantly, and they became the closest of friends. This incident taught Hermes that creativity and art can heal any wound and bridge any divide between opposing parties. As messenger of the gods, Hermes carries more than simple communications. He bears hopes, dreams, inspirations, and revelations. His winged sandals allow him to travel instantly between the realm of the gods, the world of mortals, and even the shadowy underworld, making him the only deity who can freely move between all levels of existence. His caduceus, the staff entwined with two serpents, has the power to bring peace to any conflict and understanding to any confusion. Hermes delights in his role as patron of travelers, merchants, and all who journey far from home. He places his protection over honest traders, ensuring fair deals and safe passage for those who conduct business with integrity. His blessing rests upon every handshake that seals an honorable agreement, every coin that changes hands in fair trade, and every merchant who treats customers as friends rather than merely sources of profit. The god's love of language and communication extends far beyond simple message carrying. He is the inventor of writing, the inspiration behind every letter that connects distant hearts, every book that shares knowledge across generations, and every story that teaches wisdom through entertainment. Poets and writers pray to him for eloquence, while speakers seek his blessing for words that will inspire and unite rather than divide. As guide of souls, Hermes performs perhaps his most sacred duty, escorting the spirits of the departed to their final rest in Hades' realm. But he approaches this solemn task with gentle humor and infinite compassion, helping the confused dead understand their transition and easing their fears about what lies ahead. His presence makes even death less frightening, transforming it from an ending into simply another journey. Hermes appears to mortals in many guises, as a helpful stranger who appears just when needed, as the sudden inspiration that solves a difficult problem, or as the coincidence that brings exactly the right person at exactly the right time. He delights in these subtle interventions, preferring to help in ways that allow mortals to feel they've accomplished things through their own efforts. The god's mischievous nature serves a higher purpose than mere entertainment. His pranks are designed to teach humility to the proud, wisdom to the foolish, and flexibility to the rigid. When someone becomes too set in their ways or too convinced of their own importance, a gentle trick from Hermes reminds them that life is full of surprises and that laughter is often the best response to unexpected challenges. In his role as patron of athletes, Hermes emphasizes not just physical speed and skill, but mental agility and good sportsmanship. He teaches that true victory comes not from defeating others, but from surpassing one's own limitations and helping fellow competitors achieve their best performance. His presence can be felt at every sporting event where participants compete with honor and respect for their opponents. Hermes' connection to magic and transformation reflects his understanding that change is the only constant in life. He helps people adapt to new circumstances, find creative solutions to seemingly impossible problems, and discover hidden talents they never knew they possessed. His magic is not the flashy kind of stage shows, but the everyday miracles of growth, learning, and positive change. The god maintains a vast network of informants throughout all the realms, not spies but friends who share interesting stories and important news. Through them, he stays informed about everything from the smallest human kindness to the grandest divine drama, ensuring that no cry for help goes unheard and no achievement goes unrecognized. As the eternal mediator, Hermes uses his diplomatic skills to resolve conflicts between gods and mortals alike. His quick wit and genuine care for all parties help him find solutions that satisfy everyone's deepest needs, even when their surface demands seem incompatible. He has prevented countless wars simply by helping opposing sides understand each other's perspectives. When night falls and most of the world sleeps, Hermes continues his work, carrying dreams to slumbering minds and collecting the prayers whispered in darkness. He sorts through these midnight messages, ensuring that urgent pleas reach the appropriate gods and that beautiful dreams find their way to those who need hope most. In his private moments, Hermes enjoys simple pleasures: a good joke shared with friends, a perfectly executed sleight of hand, a message that arrives just in time to change someone's life for the better. His laughter echoes through the corridors of Olympus, reminding all the gods that even in their cosmic responsibilities, there is always room for joy and wonder. As he rests his winged feet and sets aside his traveler's staff, Hermes smiles at the thought of all the journeys yet to come and all the connections yet to be made in the endless adventure of existence. And so, dear dreamer, our journey through the halls of Olympus draws to a gentle close. We have walked with Zeus through storms and sunlight, sailed with Poseidon through ocean depths and surface waves, and wandered with Hades through the peaceful realms beyond life. We have learned wisdom from Athena's silver eyes and felt the warmth of Apollo's golden light. We have run with Artemis through moonlit forests and danced with Aphrodite in gardens of eternal bloom. We have discovered true courage in Ares' protective heart and found laughter in Hermes' clever wit. We have witnessed Hera's devotion and felt the grace that flows from each divine presence. These 10 mighty gods, in all their power and wisdom, continue their eternal dance through the cosmos. Their stories remind us that even the mightiest beings struggle with the same challenges we face: the need for love and understanding, the desire to protect what we cherish, the quest for meaning and purpose. As you drift now toward peaceful sleep, carry with you the gifts these ancient deities offer: Zeus's strength in times of trial, Hera's faithfulness in relationships, Poseidon's depth of feeling, and Hades' understanding that endings are also beginnings. Remember Athena's wisdom when facing difficult decisions, Apollo's healing light in moments of darkness, Artemis's independence and connection to nature's rhythms. Let Aphrodite's love fill your heart, Ares' courage strengthen your resolve, and Hermes' joy and connection inspire your relationships with others. The gods of Olympus live not only in ancient stories, but in every act of courage, every moment of wisdom, every choice to create rather than destroy. They dwell in the human heart that loves deeply, protects fiercely, and never stops reaching toward the light. Their power flows through every person who chooses to be better today than they were yesterday. As the stars wheel overhead in their eternal patterns, as the moon follows her silver path across the night sky, As the earth turns in its ancient rhythm, these divine presences watch over all creation with love and care. Their stories continue to unfold in the lives of every person who embodies their virtues, who faces challenges with their courage, who loves with their passion. Sleep now, gentle traveler, and dream of palaces built from clouds and starlight. Dream of gardens where impossible flowers bloom and music plays that heals all wound. Dream of flying with golden eagles over mountain peaks touched by dawn, of swimming with silver dolphins in waters clear as crystal. In your dreams, you may find yourself walking the marble halls of Olympus, welcomed as a friend by these mighty beings who understand that divinity lies not in power alone, but in the choice to use that power in service of love, justice, and beauty. You may discover that the line between mortal and immortal is thinner than you thought, crossed by every act of selfless love, every moment of transcendent courage. And when morning comes, when Apollo's chariot brings the golden dawn across the sky, carry these stories with you. Let them remind you that you are part of an ancient tapestry of human experience, connected to every seeker who has ever looked up at the stars and wondered about the mysteries of existence. The gods of Greece were never meant to be worshipped from afar, but to inspire the divine potential within each human heart. Their greatest gift is not their power, but their reminder that we too can embody wisdom, courage, love, and justice in our daily lives. We too can be guardians of beauty, protectors of the innocent, healers of wounds, and bringers of light to dark places. Rest well, dreamer of ancient dreams. Let the gentle rhythm of these timeless tales carry you into sleep, as deep and peaceful as the Mediterranean Sea on a windless night. And know that somewhere in the space between sleeping and waking, between myth and reality, the gods of Olympus smile and bless all who remember their stories with love.